Hey guys, it's Ashley, and in today's video I'm going to be doing the try a chapter video. I don't really know what this is called. I don't know if it's a tag, if it's just a video idea, or what it is, but I'm gonna be doing it today. Before I started filming this, I actually didn't look at any of these kinds of videos, so I don't remember how it goes. I'm just gonna do what I think I'm supposed to do, and we're just gonna go from there. So let's get started. If you don't know what the try a chapter video is about, it's basically where you take a few books that you are questioning whether you still want, whether you still have interest in reading, and you try the first chapter, and if it interests you, you keep it, and if it doesn't, you unhaul it. The reason that I decided to do this video today is because I haven't told anybody this, but I unhauled this entire bookshelf. I didn't make a video about it. I'm not going to upload anything about it. I just went through all of my books one day, all of the books that I have here, all of the books that I have out there, a lot, and I went through and I held up each one and I was like, do I feel like I'm ever gonna read this? And if the answer was no, I went ahead and put it in a pile. So I managed to unhaul a ton of books that were just taking up space for no reason whatsoever, because I knew I was never going to read them and I knew I had no interest in them. And so a lot of them I received for free from subscription companies and publishers and things like that I knew I didn't have any interest in. I went ahead and donated those to my library, and I do have a bunch of books that I had previously bought in the past that I'm planning on selling on Depop, so I will let you guys know when I decide to start listing those. But yeah, that's the reason that I'm doing this today. I have a few books that I'm iffy on, so I figured why not try a chapter, make a video about it, and see what happens. So the books that I have here today that I am trying are these guys right here. There are 5 of them. First up, we have The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. I know absolutely nothing about this book, and I know that so many people love this series, but I just can't find it in me to start it ever. Nothing about this cover, nothing about this book, nothing about it whatsoever, probably until I read the summary, is going to pique my interest in it. So we're gonna try the first chapter and see what happens. I really hope these chapters aren't very long because I don't have that much time. I missed this whole page that's in chapter 1 and I thought it just started, the story just started. I don't know. Okay, I like the first sentence. I'm already talking about this, but I like the first sentence. It says, "Today was the day 1,000 dreams would die and a single dream would be born." Oh god, wait, now that I'm thinking about that, that sounds like a bunch of people are dying and somebody's happy about it. Okay, I'm already 4 pages into this and I already don't like it. First off, because I don't like it, unless I'm really interested in reading a book and willing to put the time into it, I don't like when fantasy books and fantasy authors just introduce stuff without explaining what it is. It really bothers me. Listen, the prescribed liturgies passed as they were ordained, the rituals and rites as each had been precisely laid out, all a testament to the greatness of Morgan and the remnant from which it was born. I don't know what any of that means. So I just finished the first chapter and I'm not sure how I feel. I wasn't expecting it to end in the way that it did. Basically, all that I've got is this girl is the first daughter, which apparently means something, but her power hasn't manifested yet, which apparently comes in womanhood, which she's been in for 4 years. I don't know why I keep doing air quotes, but you know. She's being married off to this prince and she doesn't want to, and she also got a lot of back tattoos. I like at the end that she just kind of ran away from the wedding. She kind of got on a horse. She had made these plans in preparation for this day and just bolted from her own wedding, which I like. So that's making me want to keep reading, but at the same time, nothing about this world and nothing about this arranged marriage kind of situation I'm blowing with right now. So this is still a big if for me, honestly. I have half a mind just to toss it over there and to get rid of it, but at the same time I'm I feel like it could get good. Oh god, I don't know. This video is gonna be a lot harder than I thought. Alright, so next up I have 3 Dark Crowns by Ken Dare Blake, which I have had on my shelf for years now. I think I got it from one of the very first Owl Crate boxes that I ever did, and I've yet to read it, and I've yet to pick it up, and I've yet to have any interest in doing so. So I didn't know that that was Ken Dare Blake. I kept getting Ken Dare Blake's name confused with Roshni Chokshi. Wow, I'm sorry. Anyways, so I've yet to have any interest in picking it up, so we're gonna see what I think of the first chapter. Alright, so that took me like a good 30 minutes, but I just finished the first chapter of Three Dark Crowns, and I have to say, I think I'm gonna keep it, and I think I'm gonna read it really soon, because that first chapter was really good and really interesting, and I'm really eager to see what the other sisters are like. Basically, if you don't know anything about this story, which I guess I should have pointed this out early on, but I forgot. It's about three sisters, and it's this world in which these triplets are born and they are separated, and they each grow up with a different power. So one is a poisoner, one is an elemental, and then one is a naturalist. Basically, when they come of age, they are supposed to fight to the death. And so the first chapter was all about Catherine, who is a poisoner, but she has not yet come into her power. So there's this scene in which she's supposed to eat this feast full of poisoned food in front of this council and all of these people to prove how powerful she is, but she hasn't come into her power yet. So she's eating this feast and she's feeling all of this poison course through her, and she knows she has to get going, and people are like, you haven't eaten enough yet, and then she just kind of throws up everywhere and everybody hates her and she's disgraced now, and that's that. But I have a feeling that there's gonna be more to her story. I mean, obviously there is, it was just the first chapter, but I'm really eager to see what the other sisters are like, because there was one moment where a lot of people were talking about Mirabella, who is the elemental, and they were saying, you know, oh, she's so powerful, but she's prone to fits and rages, and she's very emotionally distraught versus, like, you know, having her stuff together. And then when they were talking about Arizno, I think is her name, Arsino, the naturalist, they were saying nobody talks about her. So we know nothing about her at this point, and I'm so eager to know more. I wasn't expecting to like the first chapter as much as I did, but I like it and I just want to know more. So I'm definitely keeping this one. I'm glad I've done this video so I know this. Next up on this list is Carve Evolve, which I had for a really long time and have yet to read. From what I remember of what this is about is there's two sisters and one of them has to save her sister from the Carve Evolve. I don't know. They get like an invitation. The one girl has to save her sister by performing in a competition or something. I'm honestly not really sure, but I'm eager to find out if I like the first chapter, so we are gonna see. Before I get into what I thought of it, I just want to apologize for the change in light. I'm taking like 20-minute increments to read these chapters, so the light is like changing constantly, so sorry. So the first chapter of this book is basically just the letters that Scarlet is writing to the Carve Evolve master, trying to convince him to come to their isle, or to like for them to come to him, I guess, because her sister Donatella really wants to see the Carve Evolve, and I mean so does Scarlet, but she's doing it for Donatella. So that's just the first chapter is just like all of the letters that she wrote. So I went ahead and moved on to the next chapter too, so that I could know more about the story. And I'm slightly interested. I don't know. The first chapter was not to me as hooking as Three Dark Crowns, for me at least, but it was still good. So we've got Scarlet, who's the older sister, and Donatella, or Tella, who is the younger sister. And so the whole first chapter is basically Scarlet getting this letter from the Carve Evolve master with the tickets and the invites to the Carve Evolve. And she goes down to tell Tella. Tella is making out with this guy named Julian, and then their father catches them. Like at first, Donatella was lying and saying that Scarlet was kissing him, and then Scarlet said that it was Tella, and at first I was like, wow, they must really like not have a good relationship. But then I found out that apparently the father's really abusive, and so their father, whenever one of them tells a lie, he punishes the other one instead. So Scarlet kept saying that it wasn't her, and Donatella was saying that it was her. So he asked the boy, and the boy said that it was Scarlet that he was kissing when it wasn't. And so he punished Donatella because Scarlet was telling the lie. That's what it was. It's so confusing, but it's like, I think they have a good relationship. But I love stories with siblings. I love stories with any kind of like sibling relationship, since I do have siblings, so I kind of relate to it in that way. So I'm slightly interested in reading more, so I think this is one that I'm actually gonna keep, which I'm surprised about because I thought that I didn't want it, but turns out I do. All right, so next up, which is the fourth book, 4 out of 5 books that I have here, is 1,000 Pieces of You by Claudia Gray, which is kind of hard to see because the glare. But I've heard really, really good things about this book a long time ago, and I've yet to pick it up. It's like a sci-fi alternate dimension kind of book, which really strikes my interest and piques my interest because I love alternate dimension things, so I'm really excited. Also, the front cover has always really intrigued me because like there's, I think it's New York or some city on one side, and then it's like Moscow and Russia underneath it. So I'm eager to see if like this is the alternate dimension that she's getting like sent to somehow. I don't know. We're gonna find out. I'm gonna read the first chapter and I will tell you what I think. Okay, so the first chapter of this story is actually really short and I just finished it within like 5 minutes. It's literally 5 pages long. I'm kind of interested at this point. So basically the story starts with Marguerite, who's the main character, and she has just used this thing called the Firebird to travel to an alternate dimension. Her mom and her dad created this thing and they had like their theories, so they were like really science buffs and like people like that. It says, what if this is how I die? This time yesterday, my dad probably asked himself that same question. I close my eyes tightly and the cold rain on my face mingles with hot tears. Although I try not to picture how dad died, the images force their way into my mind over and over. His car filling with water, brownish river lapping over the windshield. Dad probably dazed from the wreck, but scrambling to get the door open and failing. Grasping for the last inches of air in the car, thinking of me and mom and Josie. He must have been so scared. So like, did her dad die yesterday? Did she use this Firebird then to get out of that? Did that not happen yesterday? Like, why did she say this time yesterday? My dad probably asked himself that same question. Okay, so this, like, them drowning had to have happened yesterday, and that just means her dad asked himself that question as they were about to drown. What if this is how I die? So did they really die? I'm confused, and this is why I want to know more. She's gotten to this alternate dimension, and the first thing that she does, because she thinks that, according to her mom's theories, the Marguerite in the dimension that she just traveled to is about to take over. So like the Marguerite in the dimension that she's in now, her memories are gonna like take over her body, I guess, because there's only one Marguerite that can exist in the dimension at a time. That was her mother's theory. So she's preparing for this to happen. And so she like grabs lipstick out of her bag and writes on the brick wall, "Kill Paul Markov," thinking, okay, well, if this Marguerite is going to take over, then this is the first thing that she's going to see, and she's going to need to do this. So I'm really, really interested to know who the heck Paul Markov is. Yeah, toward the end she says, we can get to Paul. We can take back the Firebird prototype that he stole, and we can take our revenge for what he did to my father. I guess Paul stole this prototype and then managed to somehow either directly or indirectly kill her dad. Also, there's some guy named Theo, and I'm not sure who Theo is. I think that he like worked with the mother and father, but also he has a really good relationship with Marguerite, so I don't know if they're together or if they're just like really good friends or what's happening. All in all, I'm like really interested to see where this is gonna go. I don't know, I just really like alternate dimensions, so I'm gonna keep it. And the final book that I have to try the first chapter of a second time, because I already tried it once before, is Cinder by Marissa Meyer. This is book 1 of the Lunar Chronicles, which I've had for years and have yet to finish. When I say finish, I say it because I started the audiobook to it. I feel like I've said this story like a million times on my channel, but I started the audiobook, I got a few chapters in, I was in the car, then I started getting like motion sickness and car sickness, and I stopped, and then I never finished it. I remember vaguely what happens in the first few chapters, but not really much. Also, people say that the series doesn't, this is like their least favorite in the series, I've heard some people say. Maybe I heard wrong, I don't know. But yeah, I guess we'll find out what happens, or I'll find out whether I really want to read it. I have high hopes for myself in this series, because this is such a beloved series, and I usually, if I can get into a book at least a little bit, then I end up liking it. I've never had a book that I've like thoroughly hated, other than maybe like The Cruel Prince. I really didn't like that book. Like I feel like if I just got into this book and got into this series, I would enjoy it, but I've just yet to do that. So let's try the first chapter again, see what happens, and if I really feel like, you know, hey, I'm never gonna read this, then I'll just sell it, give it away. I don't remember where I got this from, and I'll get it on ebook if I decide that I want to pick it up again in the future, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, I'm back. After reading the first chapter, I feel the same way that I did after I read the audiobook. I don't know. I don't have any feelings toward the story just yet. I don't know. There was never any, oh my god, I need to keep reading, or like, there's just so much happening. Like, she's a cyborg. The prince just came to her market. We know people don't like her. There's this world that we don't know of yet. Also, there's a plague. I'm like, it's this like high-tech, like New Beijing, like sci-fi kind of world, but I always imagined it as like, not like a place that would have to suffer a plague. I always felt like if there was a plague, they would be able to fix it or like cure it really quickly. So I guess it was just my idea of this book that stopped me from liking it. But I feel like if I continued and I kept reading it, I would really enjoy it. So I think I'm gonna keep it. You guys let me know down below what you thought of this series, if you've read it, if you liked it, if you disliked it. This is the one that I'm really like about. Please let me know if I should keep reading, and let me know what book is your favorite in the series so I know what to look forward to if I do keep reading this. So all in all, I think that was a pretty good run. I think after having read the rest of the books that I am going to get rid of The Kiss of Deception. I don't know, just nothing about the first chapter really made me like the book at all. I mean, granted, I did like the fact that she ran out on her own wedding. Love that. But other than that, there was just really nothing that struck me, nothing that interested me, and nothing that made me want to keep reading. So I think I'm going to get rid of that one. But all of the other four, with the exception of parts of Cinder that I'm still debating about, I really enjoyed, and I'm looking forward to reading. Hopefully I'll be able to get to them soon. I have plans to read some of the sequels that I have been missing out on first, and I have plans to read some other books that I'm planning to do for a video that I haven't told anybody about. It's totally just a video of my own creation, so I hope when that comes out you guys will like it. Yeah, hopefully I'll get to these at some point in the future. Not quite soon, but not quite in the late year. I don't know where that was going. Anyway, I think that's gonna be it for this video. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you later. Goodbye!